Hello everyone, I'm Miss Claire from Weeks Public Library. Welcome back to Staying Home STEAM and our third week of summer reading. Oh my gosh guys, I can't believe it's been 3 weeks already. So for today's craft, we're going to be making the Hero Shield activity that comes in your Take and Make bag. If you haven't picked up a Take and Make craft yet, what you can do is you can call or email the library to schedule a safe pickup time for you to swing by and grab that. So let's get started with our first craft. In your craft kit, you should have a paper plate, a few squares of colored paper, one strip of paper, and then some things to decorate with. So what we're going to start with is we're going to use our paper to make some shapes to decorate our awesome hero shield. So I'm going to cut a square shape with my paper. And we can just glue those wherever we want to. I like to put my shield so that the bump part is facing up, just because it looks more like a shield that way. And you're going to use glue or tape on anything you want to add. And I'm going to add, with my other color, I'm going to add a little heart in the middle. So I think that being kind is the best superpower. Add a little heart in the middle there. Oop, I made it too big. Hold on. Does that fit? There we go. So add our glue. Just like that. Okay. So now what we can do is we can use any decorative items. I think you might have gotten some jewels in your craft bag, so you can use those to decorate if you want. You can also take this opportunity to color with some markers, which is what I'm going to do right now. So I think my shield is ready. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip it over, and I'm going to take my one strip of paper, and I'm going to fold about 1 inch on either side. Okay. And what I'm going to do is now I'm going to glue or tape my holder. So it's going to stay on your arm just like that, right onto my plate. So I'm going to use tape for this one, but glue works just fine. You just have to be a little bit patient. Okay, so you're going to put those on either side. And now you have an awesome hero shield that you can wear on your arm. So for our STEM activities today, we're going to be talking about magnets and magnetism, because they are some pretty cool superpowers that you probably didn't know you had. When we're talking about magnets, it's important to remember that magnets have 2 poles, and opposite poles attract, which means they want to go towards each other, and the same poles repel, which means that they want to go away from each other. So if I put, if I put my magnet down right up here, let's see. Do you think this attracts or repels? I would say that probably repels, right? Because it flipped it right over. Let's try again. See, I'm even moving it. I'm not actually touching it, but I'm moving it a little bit. And these aren't very strong magnets, but you can see this. If you have really strong magnets, like science experiment magnets, you can definitely see this even stronger. Oops, see, it flipped my magnet again. So you can see that these sides want to stick together. So those are the polar sides. the opposite sides. And then if we flip this over, so these would be the same poles. And that's why it's kind of scooting around and flipping over. For the first activity, you'll need a little string. I just have a piece of thread, so we want something pretty thin. And then a paper clip or a safety pin would also work for this project. And just the strongest magnet that you have on your fridge. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to tie the end of my string onto my paper clip. Okay. And then you're going to have somebody else hold onto the paper clip for you. And we're going to try to see how the paper clip moves as we move around the magnet. So what's happening here is that, as we know, with magnets, opposite poles attract. So normally, a paper clip isn't magnetic by itself, right? It needs a magnet. And what the magnet is doing is basically, the paper clip has all these little atoms floating around, and they're just spinning around, and the poles don't go one way or another. But when we add a magnet, it pulls the poles all in one direction. So now all the poles are going in one direction, so it is attracted to the magnet. Okay, so for this activity, we're going to make, using the same ideas that we were just working with, we're going to make a compass, because superheroes always know which direction they're going in, out of some basic household materials. Alright, so you're going to need a kitchen magnet again, either a needle, a safety pin, or a paper clip. Either a little piece of cork, you're going to want to ask your grown-up to cut one of those for you, or a plastic bottle cap can also work for this project. And then you're going to want a dish of water. So it's better if the dish is a little bit wider, so like a shallow bowl or like a deeper plate. And what we're going to do is we're going to take our paper clip and we're going to take our magnet, and you're going to rub the magnet over the paper clip going the same direction. Okay, so you're not going to go back and forth, you're going to go one direction. And we're going to do that 50 times, and you're going to do that on both sides. Okay, and what this is doing is it's making sure that all the atoms are facing the right direction, right? We want to have all the poles going in the same direction. And what's going to happen is that it's going to create a small magnetic field. Even though we know that a paper clip isn't normally going to be magnetic on its own, we can use our magnet to create a magnetic field for it. And then we're going to use that as a compass. So we all know that just like magnets, the Earth has a north and south pole. So what this is going to do is going to point towards the North Pole, because we're getting all the poles to go in the same direction, right? And we know that opposite poles attract. So whichever the opposite pole way is, it will spin. So we're going to place our cork right in the water, and then on top of that we're going to place our safety pin, and our safety pin is going to spin, spin, spin. And I'm going to put my little compass, you can kind of see that right there. I'll face it towards north, and then we're going to watch and see if our compass ends up going that direction. What do you think? That looks pretty, oh, it's going back the other direction. one important thing to remember is that because our compass is in water, it is going to drift a little bit. And it can also make a difference if your table's slightly slanted, which mine is. So let's be gentle. But you can kind of see it wants to go back. It wants to face north. So even though I move it a little bit, it still faces north. This won't last forever just because it was kind of relying on the magnet for its magnetic field, but you can certainly give it a try and see how long it lasts and see if you can watch it go north. There we go. Look at that. So it goes that way, but it's going to go right back to north. Olive is very interested in what's going on right now. So one thing that you may want to try if you have a grown-up's help with this is actually trying with a sewing needle. Just because the sewing needle is a better way to show you exactly which way it's pointing. It can be a little bit tricky to tell with the paper clip. So I'm going to show you how to do it with a sewing needle, but remember this is when you need to ask a grown-up for help with. We're going to do the same exact thing. Just be careful not to touch the pointy end. Okay, I'm just rubbing it down one way. So we don't want to go back and forth because then that'll kind of mess it up. We're going to do that 50 times. Okay, so once we've done that 50 times, you can have a grown-up take the cork and gently push your needle right through. Okay, you gotta watch your fingers. Be careful with your fingers. Push the needle right through. All right, and then you can plop it in the water and watch it turn. There we go. It went right to north. Pretty cool. Thank you so much for joining me today for another episode of Staying Home STEAM, talking all about heroes. Next week, we're going to be covering some funny fairy tales, so make sure to join me. Bye!